Okay,
Welcome,
Brandon, we're
Hannah.
here. I did that because I had the YouTube playing on the TV. Well, I was gonna play it on the TV, but it started automatically without me pushing play. So y'all would have heard both of us. So
Well, welcome, nonetheless. Welcome, everybody, to In This Season podcast on this 24th day of February, the 24th consecutive day of the In This Season podcast with your host, the Butterfly, and her son, the co-host, me, B. Good to see you guys. I appreciate y'all coming in with us again this early morning. I don't know if y'all noticed, but when we first started this, it was a little bit more dark outside. So I hope y'all see the changes of this season that's happening in this season. That the sun is greeting us earlier and earlier as we start our day. So I hope it's a little bit easier for everybody to get here and to experience this. I hope it's not only easy for you to get here, but it's I hope it's hard for you to leave, I hope that you want to keep coming back and hearing this podcast. It's a pleasure and honor to do this with y'all. And again, y'all, this is our 24th day of doing this podcast with you all. So I mean, we gotta give ourselves a round of applause, and a pat on the back, because we've been consistent with you, and hopefully we've been consistent with ourselves, and you all have been consistent with the principles and the thoughts and the attitudes that are instilled in this book. Hopefully those have been transferred over to your conscious, and you're now starting to see some of the fruit of those seeds that have been planted over the course of this celebration of Black History Month. So in acknowledgement of Black History Month, we are reading Dennis Kimbro's Daily Motivations for African American Success. Dennis Kimbro is the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. I know many of you have gotten the book, but some of you may still have not. You should. This will, after Black History Month, we want you to keep on, going through this and reading this. I've shared this with multiple friends who've started to pick it up to read its pages, and they absolutely
you
love it.
want
Even
them to do what? You want them to do what?
what?
Keep on reading. You
Yeah, I
mean
want them
keep?
to keep on
You
keep
mean
on
keep on
reading.
joining us, right? You mean keep joining us, right? That's what you meant.
Huh?
Right? You mean that you want them to keep joining
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that
I
means
like
you're
that.
coming back.
I mean,
I'm messing with
we
you.
got to put it on paper. Not just like, nah. Yeah, no, this is cool. This is cool. I'm up every morning anyway to pray. And I don't think there's anything that I'm gonna have to do between 7 and 8 that would be as beneficial as this. So let's keep it pushing, y'all. Let's keep it pushing and see what we can do with it. And yeah, let's jump right into the show. How you feeling, Butterfly?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a great
Yeah.
Saturday. I'm off today and tomorrow and Monday.
Hey.
So I know. So I'm gonna just do some cleaning around the house, just to relax, just kind of sit in my own seat today.
Hmm. Sound. With all those days off, I know you cooking something.
We got some crappie. Some we got
Hey.
Mimon gave us some crappie. Or maybe try some fish.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hope you guys are gonna have a great weekend too. This is the start of a weekend. Hope y'all had a good Friday. I know I did. But let's jump into today's reading. And so, if you didn't know about this book, Daily Motivations for African American Success, is to help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds important, that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. So in 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, to cultivate a positive attitude, and become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom and a quote from a distinguished and celebrated African American. I'm talking Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and the list goes on and on with hundreds of more. This treasure of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches you will last a lifetime. So today is the 24th. So let me flip to our February 24th and see what they got for us today. I'm always excited to turn this page. And I'm hesitant to even read the next day because I don't want to spoil it for myself, right? I have this thing where if I look at something, sometimes even for a second, the words are just printed on the screen of my mind. So I find myself going back and seeing those words, and so I do my best not to even look at it. I don't know about y'all, but I think my mind is as excited as I am to figure out what the affirmation, what the passage, and what the quote is for the day. So without further ado, Mom, if you don't have anything, I'm gonna jump right into it.
Jump into it.
All right, after a sip of coffee. Thank y'all so much for riding with us. Please share this. If you have a second, share this to somebody. Send it as a link to somebody. They can't see it live on YouTube. They can see it on my Instagram live on the Gladiator Gator. Excuse me. Remember to spell Gator Gaitor, and on Facebook Live under my mother's In the Season podcast, Tammy Gator, and on her platform. So we're gonna jump right into it. February 24th. Our title for today is A Flash of Inspiration. A flash of inspiration. And our quote is from Comer Cottrell, who's the founder of Proline Corporation. And the quote is, "The greatest inspiration is often born of desperation." Hmm. The greatest inspiration is often born of desperation. So what are we going to do with that one? Everybody sip their coffee. I got a little real. Okay. So the passage goes as follows. Oh, shout out to my girl. Oh yeah. Mouse just joined us. MAWOOSE. I hope you're doing well with your beautiful family. Thank you for joining us. I haven't seen you since Randy's coming home party, but we're gonna jump right into it, y'all. So again, our title is A Flash of Inspiration, and our quote is, "The greatest inspiration is often born of desperation." Just as we are now, each of us has all that we need to succeed. You and I are thoughts in the mind of God, and God cannot be defeated. One sage said, "There is no invention, only discovery." The people who succeed are those who adapt, combine, create, and make the best use of what they have been given to work with. George Washington Carver, for example, was a God-inspired genius of the highest caliber. When most of us look at the peanut, we see a tiny seed. But Dr. Carver saw more than 300 different uses for the peanut, including washing powder, shaving cream, bleach, paper, ink, and synthetic rubber. He also discovered 118 uses for the sweet potato. In short, he accepted what was given, recognized its uniqueness, and served the world through it. Dr. Carver put into action with maxim, what you are is God's. Doctor put into action the maxim that what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. Let me read that again. Dr. Carver put into action the maxim, what you are is God's gift to you. And what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So no matter what our past, our troubles, or our limitations, there's always a way for us to turn seemingly futile circumstances into splendid success. There is, for example, a powerful story of a woman in New England who lost the use of her arms and legs, but refused to be beaten. She put a paintbrush in her mouth and began to draw the lovely country scenes she saw from her porch. Now, she sells many of her paintings as Christmas cards. Her business is successful in more ways than one. We are different from all other creatures because of the gift of imaginative wisdom. Animals see things as they are, but we see things as they can be. We have been given the divine ability to transform. It is exactly this wisdom that enables us to transcend circumstances. And our affirmation for today that we read 3 times at the end of the passage is, I can change any conditions I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity. I can change any conditions I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity. And last time, you can close your eyes as you say it or as I read it. I can change any conditions I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity. And that's the passage for today. I hope it blessed you. I hope it's got your mind turning backflips, cartwheels, and front flips to figure out, how this applies to your life, and how this inspiration and affirmation can be added to your deeds, your thoughts, your attitudes, and your method of operation for today. So, Mom, I'm going to turn it over to you. What do you think about that passage? A flash of
Um,
inspiration.
I love all of the other um, readings, the days that we've done, the daily transformations. But I'm going to have to deem this one probably number one for today. I almost want you to read it again. It's a long passage, but I almost want you to read this one again. Um, it is speaking my language as it relates to having to go inward in order to live outwardly. But so often we reverse it. And the inspiration that is talking about the creativity. I don't know if it mentioned vision. Um, and I love here how it talks about the inborn. Where is that? My
Bottom.
inborn creativity.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you were born with. I've always said that children, if we were less distracted on, oh, I'm your mom, I'm your dad, I'm da 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 da. Who are you? Who is this child that I've God has allowed me to bring in this world? Who is he rather than I am your and do this, do this. Yes, we need to set a foundation, but that foundation should be through them seeing that we know who we are and that we're living that we've gone into our inborn creativity and we've released it through our purpose with passion and a vision. So imagine if we had that much focus on our children to where at age 2 or 3 they may be telling us, showing us that inborn creativity. But sometimes we're so stuck on, oh, they're going to be a doctor because of the status. Oh, they're going to be the president, when maybe they were supposed to be the best artist, the best school traffic person, the guy who I talked about that got so much joy out of making sure the kids got in and out safely. But this is going to be my favorite for right now. I'm just going to have to go ahead and name it. It's going to be my favorite because I believe everything that we need is in us. We were born with it. And it is our gift to God, to the world, because what we were born with and what we need is the same thing that someone needs from us. So I don't know. I'm gonna probably type more than I usually do today, meaning to share with you guys out there on the screen. Brandon, if we have the time, we might have to read this one again. I'm serious.
Okay. Okay. You want me to read it again?
Would you please? And I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop and just listen because I'm always doing something with the comments and all that. Let's read this one again.
Okay. I'll read it just a little bit faster.
Yeah,
Um,
listen with your heart, guys. Listen with your heart.
let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. I really like. Well, I'm gonna read it again, but I'll tell you about the parts that I like. Um, the title is A Flash of Inspiration. Just as we are now, each of us has all that we need to succeed. You and I are thoughts in the mind of God, and God cannot be defeated. One sage said, there is no invention, only discovery. The people who succeed are those who adapt, combine, create, and make the best use of what they have been given to work with. George Washington Carver, for example, was a God-inspired genius of the highest caliber. When most of us look at the peanut, we 100 different uses for the peanut, including washing powder, shaving cream, bleach, paper, ink, and synthetic rubber. He also discovered 118 uses for the sweet potato. In short, he accepted what was given, recognized its uniqueness, and served the world through it. Dr. Carver put into action the maxim, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. No matter what our past, our troubles, or our limitations, there is always a way for us to turn seemingly futile circumstances into splendid success. There is, for example, a powerful story of a woman in New England who lost the use of her arms and legs but refused to be beaten. She put a paintbrush in her mouth and began to draw the lovely country scenes that she saw from her porch. Now she sells many of her paintings as Christmas cards. Her business is successful in more ways than one. We are different from all other creatures because of the gift of imaginative wisdom. Animals see things as they are, but we see things as they can be. We have been given the divine ability to transform. It is exactly this wisdom that enables us to transcend circumstances. I can change any conditions I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity. Took me 2 minutes.
Yes.
Cool. One of my favorite parts of this is what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. I really, that really resonates with me a lot. Um, and the fact of coining the distinction between human beings and other creatures is the gift of imaginative wisdom. So what you are is the gift of it, is the gift of imaginative wisdom, and what you do with that imaginative wisdom is your gift back to the creator. I think that is so powerful. And I think of so many people who have been put in desperate situations but have been inspired through it. They've turned fertile, they've turned, you know, crap into fertilizer, manure into fertilizer in a sense. One man's manure is a farmer's fertilizer. So one man's sweet potato or peanut is, you know, washing powder. All these other functions that George Washington Carver, who I think was the inventor of the plant, like a factory plant. George Washington Carver saw how a plant worked, right? He saw how just a regular plant that was growing out of the ground worked, and they created the factory, and that's why they call factories plants now. Like, oh, he's going over to the plant because George Washington Carver built assembly lines and functionalities and machines based on the functions and biology of a plant. So to be able to see something that God gives you and have a creative wisdom about it to apply it in principle or in action to other aspects of life and the human experience. So I mean that the quote that I can change any conditions that I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity is powerful, because it makes you somewhat of an alchemist. The Alchemist is a book I actually just suggested to a friend of mine last night who came over for dinner. And alchemy is namely known from turning lead into gold. Turning lead into gold. So there's a great book called The Alchemist that, if you haven't read it, it's an American classic. But it involves taking what you have and making the best of it. Not just the best of it from what everyone knows that it can do, but rather making the best of it from your own creative wisdom and creative inspiration and creative imagination, if you will. So as adults, what can you do to use your imagination more? What can you do to think outside the box for your situation? Oftentimes, an animal is the most dangerous when you have it backed into a corner. So I want you to think about, what corners are you backed into right now? Where do you feel the most pressure? Oftentimes, where do you feel the most discomfort? Oftentimes, that's the pressure point to where, if released, will produce the greatest amount of force. You know what I mean? Not to bring physics into this too much, but those principles I think apply to our life. Wherever there is the most pressure, once released, it creates the most force. So think about that, guys. Think about what corners you've been backed into your life, or that you backed yourself into, because oftentimes, and I always say this, that we are responsible for our current situation, whether it's good or bad or whatever state of being we're in, which is more than just our external reality, but our state of being, meaning how we feel, how we view ourselves, how we view others. All of these things are determined by us. All of these things are accountable to us. So your state of being is no one else's fault but your own. Your state of being is of no one else's uh, um, inspiration but your own. Your state of being is no one. It has been caused by no one else except you and your creator. So, and there's only so much that you can. That there's so much that you can do, and and of course, God is unlimited. So take account of what your deeds, your thoughts, your attitudes, your actions are to remedy that situation, and don't give up. Be wholly inspired. I mean, think about people that have been through worse and came out with more. Think about the if people are talking about you. They said worse things about Dr. King. They said worse things about Jesus. You know, what can you do to turn that into your inspiration? What can you do to turn that manure, for lack of a better word, into fertilizer for your plant, for your peanut that actually has all these other uses? You know, so that's what I got from it. Anything else from you, Mom?
Brandon, I want to focus, or I want to bring these words out so that throughout the day, those who are listening, and thank you guys, for those of you who are out there now. I know I see Victoria. Good morning, Tracy Campbell. Good morning. Thank you for listening. Please share this video. I don't know if this is your first time, so that's sweet. She got, wait, I always get them mixed up. The twins, y'all. That's sweet. Tracy
Yeah,
is
yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Stacey
Oh
is
yeah. What
big
up,
mom.
sweetie? That's my baby.
With these real names, y'all, you need to stop with these real names. That's not what we grew up on. You
Little
better
mama,
put
big
sweet
mama,
out
sweet.
there.
Yeah, that's my baby right there. What up, sis? That's
Yeah.
she my cousin, but she really like my sister. We need to talk
Yeah.
more, but you know how that goes.
Yeah.
We're
So
gonna work it out.
I'm gonna put, so like the desperation. Think of a time, or times you felt desperate, and notice how the movement changes. For most, when you're desperate, it's typically you're going to move differently. And so I think should be a sense of a balanced desperation. In a way, I think it is, but we don't realize that's what it is. Desperation to become one with self, just to become one. I was sitting through a meeting yesterday, and I had to take a disc. I think it was a disc. I think I'm saying that right. Assessment, and it popped up, and when I took it, it said answer these questions based on who you are at work. And I'm like, well, I don't fail this because I'm the same way at home. Like I have learned to just be who I am. That is my goal, just to not be this way with this person or at this place. Like we're one way at church, and then we're a saint at church and we're hell at work. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the same. So my desire, my desperation is to end the fight with myself, because to me that creates chaos, internal chaos, when you have to adapt to your situation, your environment, or the people you are around. Think about how difficult that is. And so a lot of us, we're doing that. When you
Mm-hmm.
just need to sit in your seat, learn who you are, find out who you are, understand that. And through the understanding, you know what's your positive characteristic, qualities, attributes, but you also will determine or see that you have some non-productive character qualities that are fighting against you. So I want you to focus on the word desperation. creativity. And I'm going to put the creativity one out here. Let's see. So think about creativity. Think about the inborn creativity. Again, to me, that means what are the things that you were born with? What were you passionate about as a child? What was the thing that you would do for free because it brought so much peace to you? That is the God thing in you. And I don't care how old you are, it's not too late. But you first have to determine who you are, whose you are, the gift he gave you, and the gift, how to promote, produce, birth that seed that he put in you. Because I know the world has taken it away from us. We allow the world to take it away from us. So there's so many words. Think about vision. When the last time you had vision? What was it for? When you're sitting just imagining like, man, I wish I would have did this. Why? Or I wish I had said this. I don't know, become this. Then do it. Because the things you wish for, that you imagine, are those inborn creativities that got planted in you. And it's not too late. It's not too late. So those words, and as you mentioned, Brandon, when let's see, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. What have you made of yourself? What are you making of yourself? What can you make of yourself? Because that is your gift to God. And I believe that seeing yourself as he sees you, having faith in him, um, allowing him, I would say, being fed from the spirit. Are you feeding off the spirit? Because the spirit is your Google map. It is your direction, you know? And so when you're being led by the spirit and you're feeding from the spirit, you're never hungry. Even if you are, you're never hungry. Because you will realize it's always right there. What you need is already right here. It's within us. So I'm going to check some comments, Brandon, and turn it back over to you for a bit.
All right, all right. I appreciate it. I mean, and that was an excellent synopsis and outlook and way to look at this. You know, Leslie Morales said, it's like GPS. It's like your North Star. You know, your guidance.
Lizzie always have the right words, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
She
You know, I
does.
thought about something. I have some friends some years ago that became Imagineers with. It was some years ago with the Disney Corporation, and they said that they were going to be Imagineers, like Imagineering. And I was like, man, that's a very interesting. Um, that's a very interesting way to think about engineering, to Imagineering. So they have mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, which I'm familiar with, but Imagineering, like using your imagination and the tools of your imagination to create something that betters yourself, society, or whatever goal that you have. So like, it's not just thinking aimlessly and imagining random things. It's imagining with a purpose. It's imagining with a goal and a determined destination, if you will. So, um, what are you making of yourself? What are you imagineering within yourself? Because
Mm,
humans have the ability, like the book said, to see um, not just things as they are, which is an animalistic side, and we have the ability to see things concretely as for just what they are. But what makes us distinctly human from the rest of the animal kingdom is our ability to see what can be, to see, the potentialities, to see things that have not yet been formed, to see things that have not yet been made manifest. I mean, everything from, the picture right here behind me, to the chair that I'm sitting in, to the phone that we're using to see one another, was first somebody's thought, was first somebody's idea, was first somebody's creative wisdom, and then they made it manifest. But imagine 1,000 years ago, or even 100 years ago, somebody saying, y'all gonna have these little black glass screens that you're gonna be able to communicate with somebody on the other side of the world within an instant. They would have looked at you and said, you're either a sorcerer, or you're absolutely crazy. And so these what's impossible now is possible in the future. It just takes somebody to manifest it through their imagination. So you have inventors like George Washington Carver. You have people like Albert Einstein. You have all these people that created these theories and were looked at and mocked and called crazy sometimes in their own times. And later on, we knew them to be geniuses, right? Nikolai Tesla, people like that. So, what is your inspiration? What is it that you need to do? What is it that you have been backed into a corner, whether it be you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Because I'll tell you guys, a lot of what I see in the world that's taken that creativity and that inspiration and that imagination away from people, taking them out of that what we consider childlike state of creativity, is the love for this world. It's the love of the things that we can possess in this world, but we can't take with us. It's that, oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose this materialism, this consumerism, the dollar that's the carrot that makes us run after it. Being we're misled in so many things. Imagine, I've seen so many videos of unfortunate situations where people are like, oh, I would never do this. I would never do this, until somebody says, well, would you do it for $10,000? I'll tell you this. I saw a video that really disturbed me, and I don't mean to get too off center, but I saw a situation where a man and his girlfriend were out, and another man came up to them, and they were videotaping from afar, and he was mic'd up, and they didn't know. And he said, man, you know, how much would it take for me to have 1 hour with your woman? What would it take for me to have 1 hour with your woman? And he kind of laughed, like, come on, his girl's right there beside him. He's like, man, what you talking about, man? My girl isn't for sale. And the girl kind of starts pulling on him, like, who is this dude? Like, come on, let's go. And then the guy pulls out a wad of $10,000. And he said, what about $10,000 for 1 hour? And the guy was like, what? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, better yet, $11,000. And he looks at his girl and he's like, wait a minute, baby. What do you, just for, I mean, $11,000, baby? And I kid you not. And I'm not going to tell you how it ended, but it wasn't a good ending. It ended, well, I'll say the girl ended up walking with the guy, and of course nothing happened, but it was just to show how easily our moral code is eroded based on something as finite as money. Something that, I mean, it's made out of cotton. It's not even made out of paper. It's made out of cotton. Y'all know it's the same. That's the same piece of cotton that goes to make toilet paper. It's the same piece of cotton that goes to make money. And you're sitting there letting so much go for it. Now, who's the idiot now? And you can't take none of it with you. So think about what we give up to gain this world. What is it that drives that? It's some fear of poverty, and fear of poverty is a lack of faith. Fear of poverty is a lack of faith, because I kid you not, that birds don't have pockets. Birds don't have bank accounts, but they're fed. They get a worm every day. They get a seed every day.
Hey, Brandon, let me jump in for a
Yes.
minute. So you said
Yeah.
the fear of poverty, and I want to share another story since we could go a little bit longer today. Y'all hang with us.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
the
yeah.
fear
Got
of
it.
poverty, but think about this as it relates to the story that you just told us. Um, it reminded me of when you said people don't want to earn $1 million, they want to spend $1 million, right? And on what?
Yeah.
On what? So
Yeah.
when you
People don't
say
want to make a million. They want to spend a million.
they don't want to make a million, they want to spend $1 million. And
Mm-hmm.
what do we want to spend it on? And the things that we do want to spend it on, how valuable are they? Or is it that you think it brings value to you? Right? So
Right.
when you say the fear of poverty, think about, oh gosh, I had it. Not the fear of poverty, but the need to gain the world, to feed the mask that we've talked about. Because I always, and I'm not throwing shade on anybody any parent, mother or father, who decides to, that comes from a two-parent home, that is of a two-parent home, where one decides to go out, well, both decides to go out to work, but they're spending more than half of one person's paycheck, if not almost all of it. I've seen it to where I'm looking at paperwork for people as I look through my coaching, do through my coaching with the marriage coaching and all of that. And some of them they have financial issues as well. And as you look through that, you almost like, why don't you see this? Because you are spending money to go work. It's
Right.
costing you to go to work. When you factor in the daycare, the gas, the lunch, the clothes, and let's not add the mental stress of it all, because now you're going to work every day, both of you, but you're financially struggling, but you're paying most everything towards daycare. And if you decide, one of you decided to stay home, just one of you. Now, what do your children have? They have one of their parents who's their number one guy or girl. They're the overseer, they're the keeper, they're the ones to make sure that you get what you need, that I help develop you. So it's interesting how we think. And you guys, if you start to think about what you think about, if you start to take those thoughts captive and measure them. But what are you going to measure them to? If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a plan, if you're not imagining, if you're not creative, if you're not in your inborn creativity every day, you will go to sleep still in battle of that day, and you will feel like you are losing every day. Because not only are you fighting the world, you're fighting yourself. And some mother, and I'm going to say mother because I do believe in the feminine energy that God birth us with. I believe in that. We are wired differently. We think differently. We create differently. And so there is a mother. I don't want to go this way with this, but I'm going to go this way with it. Who will hear this? And I'm going to tell you, it's who wants to stay at home and just be that beautiful mother wife that she wants to be, without feeling like, oh, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And that's your creativity. Maybe not all women were created to stay at home. I know some stay at home dads who make this thing look so easy. So just find out, you guys, where are you desperate? What's your desperation and why? Because you can be creative wherever God planted you. God will water that seed if you will allow him. You will see vision. You will be creative. You will imagine. You will have vision. You will have the imaginative with wisdom. Is that what it says? Right.
Yeah.
Imaginative wisdom. You will have that. Not just being wise enough to know when to say yes or no, but you will have that imagination of wisdom. And I think a lot of us lack that today. I feel like our grandparents had more wisdom than anything. That's why they moved through the world. That's why they could adapt. They could change. That's why grandmother could go and be picking cotton and go under the tree and have the baby and go back to picking cotton, because her strength wasn't her own. She didn't rely on her strength. She relied on the spirit within to guide, to protect, to move her when she needed to be moved, to stand still when it told her, it's okay, I got you. So what's your faith in? I actually, you got up and you joined us this morning. What did you do before joining us? What are you going to do afterwards?
Yeah.
So
I have a comment on Instagram Live. Kurosaki.com. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Alhamdulillah. Said my mother always says, know your why. and believe always. Know your why. You know, and I think purpose. I think we all desire a purpose. I think people that have not determined or found or settled into their purpose feel like something's missing. Like something's missing. They feel the desperation, but they don't feel they don't have the vision. They feel the desperation, but haven't yet found the inspiration. And I like the title of this, A Flash of Inspiration. And then the quote says that inspiration is often born out of desperation, I think it says. The greatest
The
inspiration is
greatest.
often born of desperation. So, like, are you desperate to live abundantly? And I don't mean in quantity, but I mean abundantly, as in yourself. Are you desperate to be your best self? Are you desperate to live a purpose-driven life? Are you desperate to be yourself in a world where you can be anything else? You got people walking around here on all fours talking about I'm a dog eating dog food, and people are affirming that madness. In a world where you can be anything, why not be yourself? Are you desperate? I often heard people, motivational speakers say you have to be as desperate to breathe or as desperate to succeed as you are to breathe. Imagine you're in water and you're desperate for that breath. That breath, that inhale. I know we had a reading that said waiting to exhale, but some of you all are waiting to inhale. Some of you all are waiting to breathe in the good oxygen and the good guidance that is in front of everybody. Are you desperate enough to fulfill that promise to yourself? Are you desperate enough to fulfill that purpose that God has given you? And remember, who you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your
Mhm.
gift to God. So start wrapping your presence, y'all. Think about that. Start wrapping your presence, not your presents, not like under a tree. Start wrapping your presence. Your presence. My presence when I come into a room. My presence when I am even in a room by myself. There's a presence about me, an air of confidence, an air of purpose. You know, so think about that. What are you desperate to accomplish? What are you desperate to fulfill? And let that wholly inspire you to make a new way forward, a new path forward. And that's really all I have for y'all, man. I really appreciate y'all rocking with us every single day right here. Mom, you got any other additions before we close
Yeah,
out?
I put Leslie put out there wanting financial freedom so that I can buy my time back.
Hey,
That's deep. That's deep. Thank you for
yeah,
that, Leslie. That truly blessed me. And Brandon, she also put. I just purchased my LLC, so now I'm in the birthing phase of my business in real estate investing. I just
hey,
told Brandon that we need to connect, Les. I just told Brandon that yesterday that I'm just, I'm in a different, I'm in a different, I'm in imaginative wisdom right now.
yeah,
Inborn creativity. I'm going for it. And it's not so that I can fill my life with things that bring me no value. And that's just for me, you guys.
yeah.
So that's just for me. Um, Let me go through some of the comments and then we'll end
I
here.
got one too. I got a
Okay,
comment over here
let's have it.
from Kurosaki said, right, I want it, but I'm not desperate enough, and I don't like that about myself. And thank you both for that. By the way, what's the name of the book? Thank you. The name of this book is Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. And what it is a there's a 365 short but powerful passages, one passage for every single day of the year, that gives you a quote from distinguished African Americans throughout the history of African Americans, and gives you a passage of inspiration, and then at the very bottom it gives you an affirmation to read to yourself throughout the day, and for you to take with you throughout the day. So again, that's Dennis Kimbro's Daily Motivations for African American Success. It is the title of the live stream video on Instagram. And you can also find all of the ones that we've done in this month of February, celebrating Black History Month. Every single day we've been here. So this is 24 days in a row. So you can go back on the In This Season podcast, letter N This Season podcast on YouTube, and watch all the prior days starting February 1st of inspirations, motivations, and affirmations. So get the book. It's not expensive at all, but there's so much in it.
Brandon, did he say he wants it, but he does not feel desperate enough? Is that
So
what he
the,
said?
the comment said, I want it, but I'm not desperate enough, and I don't like that about myself. So that part, so that inspiration right there, you're very welcome. So that inspiration right there is you don't like something about yourself. There's something that gives you pause. There's something that
Yes.
is uncomfortable. And what I'm saying is that that uncomfortability is the stimulus you need to start your new path, to start moving forward. And sometimes all you need to do is take the next step, and then focus on the next step and the next step. And those goals that seem so big that they can't be accomplished, if you can distill those down into the next step being your goal, then the next step being your goal. So
Okay. Brandon, is
that's
that
my
person, does that person live around us here? Or does it?
uh
It doesn't
I
matter if he
got I
does.
gotta check. I gotta check.
Okay. So if he's listening, this is what I want to do. Because I was going to say the
She.
same thing.
Hmm.
She. Okay. What is it? Define it. I would say for you, define it. I want it. What is it? And I
Live
need
in
you to write
Memphis.
it down. All right. So if you're listening, feel led to do this. I'll offer you a free assessment and 1 hour of unpacking it. Okay.
I don't think they know what that is.
Brent, well, okay. So get in touch with me. The assessment is what I use with my life coaching, all of my coaching. Everybody has to take it, has to take the assessment that allows you to see not just who you are, but how you are wired. And it help you ask the questions, what do I need and how do I need it? But it also helps you answer that question for other people who've answered that question for themselves. So my question to you off of your based on your comment here was what is it? Because you need to know what it is. And why aren't you since you want it, why do you feel that you're not desperate enough to get it? Because like Brandon says, that's something that has to do with your thought process about yourself, not maybe being deserving of it, but I still would like for you to define it. What is it? Because until you've defined that, whether you're desperate or not, desperate for it or not, is not really an issue right now. That's not the
Mm,
big thing. So um, I'd like to offer that. And if she will accept it, we can just talk about that offline. Okay.
cool, cool, cool. Well, thank y'all so much for rocking with us, and I'll make sure to get in touch with Kurosaki Khan, and we'll get that worked out. We'll get that worked out. So you got a free assessment and a free, what is a 30-minute hour of unpacking of that.
I'll do an hour. I'll do an
Okay.
hour, free hour of unpacking the assessment. And basically what that means, we're going to unpack you. We're going to take an hour, not all of it, but enough for
Mhm.
you to then unpack yourself because my coaching sessions, depending on the person and what we're trying to do, can take for up to 4 hours, sometimes much
And
more.
it's worth
But
it, y'all. It's worth it. Like I still use it to this day. Like, and I did it years ago, and I still use the things that I learned about myself in that assessment and in that unpacking. I still use to this day, and it's helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Mom, if you can also drop a link to where people can access uh, that assessment for others who want to do it and want to grow themselves and learn more about themselves, and maybe even the
Yeah.
people around them. They can take it too, and you can actually do a communications assessment between you and the people you love, you and your colleagues. Are you having trouble with people at work? Where you guys just can't get on the same page. You're not communicating effectively. This person keeps pissing you off, or they keep rubbing you the wrong way, and this, that, and the third. Maybe you're not being able to convey the meanings and the things that you believe in. The assessment can look at entire groups and see how those social dynamics could be negatively impacting how productive these people are. So if it's a relationship, if it's a family, if it's a business, this can help not just individuals, but groups of people as well. So
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that, guys,
I'll
I
drop
want,
in the link. I'll drop
okay,
some information in the link after we get off. But I wanted to say one more thing. It brings about understanding, because a lot of us we're walking around and we truly don't understand ourselves, and you
yeah,
don't have to understand it all. But if you see something, matter of fact, when I read this read the affirmation on when you were reading it, I can change any condition I find undesirable. I initially thought it said I can change any condition that I find understanding of. And so if you find understanding of yourself, you open the door to understanding others, because a lot of the things that we grow through or should be growing through, and I'm going to say going through for now, like with the couples that I see, y'all just don't understand each other. We talk about love language, but you had a whole life and have a whole life, even though you're married or have a significant other. You can't lose who you are. You should not. So before you talk about a love language, let's understand your life language. And that's what this is. It's your life language. So whole nother show, but I'll drop some links in there, and Brandon, try to connect me somehow with the young
gotcha.
lady. Just give her
So,
my
and I'm
number.
sorry, it's a young man. Actually, there's two people that I have that have a similar name. So I just realized who that was, but it's a young man. He just turned 24.
Okay.
Um, so I'll link y'all two together.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right.
appreciate y'all. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, Nelda. Um, let's see. Lessa says, "What's your why?" Um, so yeah, I think we got through everyone. If we
Yeah.
did not, you guys, thank you for joining us this morning. Share the video, get the book, and come back with us tomorrow, same time. Because we're coming up on our last week. Because the
Yeah.
29th is Thursday,
Something like that.
something
Something
like
like that.
that.
We're gonna rock through all the way to the end of February, and then we'll probably have something else for y'all coming up after this, and reading this book. Let's complete this book this year, y'all. So I'll read it, and we'll end it the same way we do every single day, with a reading of the title, a reading of the quote, and then we're gonna read that affirmation 3 times. One for yourself, one for us, one for me, one for you, and one for the person in the back of the room or the person online that you're gonna send it to. So, today, February 24th, the title is A Flash of Inspiration. And our quote from Comer Cottrell, who's the founder of Proline Corporation, says, "The greatest inspiration is often born of desperation." And that affirmation that we will carry with us throughout the day, that we'll repeat to ourselves, that we are going to let dissolve into our conscious and reverberate through our entire day is, "I can change any condition I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity." Again, I can change any conditions I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity. And last time, let it really settle in the foundations of your heart and mind. I can change any conditions I find undesirable by using my inborn creativity. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. We'll be right back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Share this link. Share the link for tomorrow. Um, we enjoy this, y'all. I hope y'all enjoying and getting as much out of this as we are. Make sure you get the book. If you haven't gotten the book, go ahead and get it. I know we're at the end of this Black
Get the
History Month, but
get the
we got a whole year of growth that we want to have. So thank y'all for rocking with us, and you guys are inspiring us as much as you may feel inspired. So let's keep that inspiration, that affirmation, that motivation going, and go be great, good people. Peace.
Brandon, one more thing. As we talk about moving forward, because I plan to move forward, and like I said, I know Brandon's going to be kind of maybe be in and out. So if anyone's interested in co-hosting, just send me a message so that way I'll know we can connect. And then when we do need one, even for me, as much as I'm going to try to be here every day. That is my desire. I'm desperate for it. So I'm going to try to make it work regardless, like yesterday. And thank y'all for rocking with us yesterday, because it was difficult, but we made it happen. Um, so if you are interested, I've had one person reach out to me already, possibly, maybe. she says. But if you are interested in maybe co-hosting for us a day so that we can keep this going, we can make that possible. Okay? So hit us up.
All right, y'all. Y'all take care. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll see y'all
Love y'all.
tomorrow. Take care. Love y'all.
Peace, peace,
Peace.
peace.